Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Indiana Fever finally get in the win column in their second game of the season, and Caitlyn Clark put on a dazzling performance minus the 3-point shot. We got to get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification to hype the video. That'd be greatly.
One in the win column. That's all the Indiana Fever needed after getting embarrassed during opening weekend. But the way they got it? That's the real story tonight. Because if you only looked at the final score, you'd miss everything that went wrong and everything that went right in a game that should have been a blowout.
So the Indiana Fever won a game tonight versus the LA Sparks that ended up being much closer than it should have ever been. Okay, the Indiana Fever should have won this game, running away by nearly 30. Somehow they win a single digit, a 9-point game.
A 9-point win against the LA Sparks. On paper, that sounds fine. In reality, this should have been a 30-point demolition. The Sparks came into this game with a roster missing Rickea Jackson and Sarah Ashley Barker, two of their better pieces from last year. So how did Indiana let Kelsey Plum drop 25 points and nearly steal this thing in the fourth quarter? That answer starts with the Fever's biggest star, who played brilliantly in every area except the one that built her brand.
The one thing that's missing from Caitlyn Clark in these games is the 3-point shot. Okay, even in the Dallas game, she had 20 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. If she shoots 4 of 9 from 3 instead of 2 of 9, we're looking at a 26-point game. Instead of her, she shot 1 of 7 from 3 today. If she shoots 3 of 7 from 3 instead of 1 of 7, we're looking at a 30-point night. If she makes 2 more.
24 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds. By every traditional metric, Caitlyn Clark just delivered a near double-double in her second game of the season. But the 3-point shot, the weapon that broke college basketball, is currently misfiring. 1 of 7 from deep tonight, 2 of 9 in the Dallas game. That's 3 of 16 from 3 across 2 games. For the player widely considered the most prolific shooter in the league, those numbers are not just bad, they are alarming. And the why behind them tells you something about what Stephanie White is asking her to do.
But the one thing I will say, there's nobody in the world that's a better point guard, better playmaker, passer than Caitlyn Clark. I mean, the girl's throwing backdoor passes to Kelsey Mitchell, backdoor passes to Sophie Cunningham. She would have had about 16 assists. I counted about 16 to 17 assists if these ladies could make their layups. Make your layups. If we make layups, dude, this team is golden. Okay, this team is golden if they can find a way to actually start making some damn layups.
This is the part of Clark's game that nobody is talking about enough. Every 3 she's hit this season has been a catch and shoot. Not a single make has come off the dribble. No step backs, no pull-ups, none of the deep logo bombs that made her a generational prospect. She is being deployed differently than she was in college, and the offense has to find a way to free her up. But the passing, the vision, that's still otherworldly. Backdoor feeds to Kelsey Mitchell, bounce passes through traffic to Sophie Cunningham cutting baseline. Indiana would have 16 assists on the night if their teammates could finish layups at a professional rate. And that brings us to the second biggest problem on this roster.
Aaliyah Boston, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm happy we got the win. You had as many fouls as the millions that your contract are. You had 6 fouls for $6 million. Wait a minute. You didn't score a single point in the first half. Now, largely, I blame a lot of this on Stephanie White. Stephanie White is so hell-bent on Aaliyah Boston being a hub and all of this stuff, standing out at the 3-point line all game. The girl don't really post up. When she do post up, Kelsey Mitchell don't throw the ball in there to her. We're going to get to Kelsey Mitchell because
6 fouls, 4 rebounds, 0 points in the first half. From a player who just signed a $6 million contract extension. That's the line Aaliyah Boston put up tonight, and it cannot be ignored. But before we put all of this on the player, we have to talk about the scheme. Stephanie White is using Boston as a high post hub. She's stationed at the 3-point line, facilitating, handoff setting, and doing everything except the thing she was drafted to do, which is dominate the painted area. Cameron Brink and Dearica Hamby both outplayed her in their individual matchups. That's a coaching problem as much as a personnel one.
Played 27 minutes. Check this out, 27 minutes. Damn near 30 minutes You didn't get a single rebound, a single assist, a single nothing. Like you literally just look to get your points. I get it. I understand. Look, Kelsey Mitchell is a microwave scorer. She can get hot quick. But I mean, damn. Like, come on, man. You 30 minutes, you don't get a single rebound, a single assist. All you doing is out there hunting your shots down.
Now to Kelsey Mitchell. 23 points on 9 of 17 shooting. 3 of 9 from 3. And here is where the stat line stops being kind. Mitchell played 27 minutes. She finished with 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 deflections worth mentioning. In an era where guards are expected to contribute across multiple categories, Mitchell is operating like she's running her own offense within the offense. She is a pure microwave scorer, and that has value. But when Clark is on the floor creating opportunities for everyone, the lack of reciprocation is becoming impossible to overlook.
And you mean to tell me you couldn't get past somebody and get a drop-off assist a single time? You're not even looking to pass the ball. You're not looking to pass, bro. And it is cool. Don't worry about it. Caitlyn will handle it. Caitlyn will score, and she'll get everybody else involved, and you just worry about scoring. It is what it is. I'm not looking to Kelsey Mitchell to get no assists no more or do anything else besides score. That's just it. That's just it. When she doesn't pass, she don't look to pass. She's just going to dribble it, and look to get a bucket, and she does it well.
Watch the tape. Mitchell drives. Mitchell pulls up. Mitchell isolates. The defense collapses, teammates cut, and the ball does not move. Compare that to Clark, who shot the exact same percentage tonight, 9 of 17, but added 9 assists, 4 rebounds, and led the team in playmaking. The point is not that Mitchell is a bad player. She's a legitimately gifted scorer who can change a game in 3 possessions. The point is that pairing her with Clark only works if Mitchell becomes a willing connector. Right now, she's a finisher who refuses to pass back. And if that doesn't change, defenses will figure out how to make Indiana one-dimensional in crunch time. Which, by the way, almost happened tonight in the 4th quarter.
Getting rid of Rickea Jackson and Sarah Ashley Barker and all that. I don't know what their GM was thinking. Ariel Atkins was awful. Ariel Atkins was terrible today. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't remember the last time I watched Ariel Atkins play good basketball. I don't know what that Sparks GM was doing, but this roster looks atrocious. Ray Burrell stinks. I just got to keep it real. Ray Burrell's not good, y'all. Ray Burrell, she's okay, but she's long, but she's not good to me. I'm sorry. She's toolsy, but she's not good. But Kelsey Plum did her thing.
The Sparks are bad. That part is not in dispute. Ariel Atkins had one of the worst performances you'll see from a starting guard this season. Ray Burrell, despite the length and tools, has not developed into a reliable contributor. The decision to move on from Rickea Jackson and Sarah Ashley Barker looks worse by the week. Los Angeles came into this season with one of the most criticized front office strategies in the league, and tonight was a live demonstration of why. Which is exactly why the Fever cannot use this win as a measuring stick. Beating a bottom-tier team by single digits is not a foundation, it is a warning sign.
Caitlyn Clark, man. Caitlyn Clark, I think, is the best player in the league. Caitlyn Clark has to find her three-point shot. I'm telling you, once she finds her three-point shot, it's over. It's over. And I don't know what Stephanie White has done. She's not making threes right now. All of the threes that Caitlyn Clark has made so far this season, none of them have been off the dribble. None of them. She hasn't made none of those step backs, none of the pull-ups. The 2 threes she hit versus Dallas were catch and shoots, and the one she hit today was a catch and a shoot. So she's got to get her off the dribble three-point shot.
So let's put all of this together, because the conversation around the Indiana Fever has gotten lazy, and the noise is drowning out the actual basketball analysis. This team is 2 games into the season. They got destroyed on opening weekend and became the punchline of the league for 48 hours. Tonight they responded with a win that, while imperfect, should not be dismissed. But the structural issues are real, and ignoring them does Caitlyn Clark no favors. Let's start with the most uncomfortable truth. Caitlyn Clark is currently the most complete point guard in the WNBA. That is not hyperbole, it is what the tape shows. Her vision, her timing on backdoor reads, her ability to manipulate help defenders before delivering a pass on time and on target. These are elite-level traits that very few players in league history have possessed at this stage of their career. The 9 assists tonight could have easily been 16 with competent finishing around her. That is the gap between her playmaking and her teammates' execution. The three-point shot will return. Anyone panicking about a 3 for 16 stretch from deep over 2 games is overreacting. Shooters slump. But there is a real conversation to be had about whether Stephanie White's offensive system is putting Clark in positions to shoot off the dribble, which is where Clark generates her most lethal looks. Every made 3 this season has been a stationary catch and shoot. That is not how Caitlyn Clark broke records at Iowa. That is not how she terrified defenses during her rookie year. Something in the actions has changed, and the staff needs to figure out why. Aaliyah Boston is the next domino. She is being asked to operate as a stretch 4 hybrid in a system that doesn't actually utilize stretch shooting. She's spending possessions on the perimeter when her best basketball happens with her back to the basket 12 feet from the rim. 6 fouls in 24 minutes is not a coincidence. When you're forced to defend in space against quicker matchups, you pick up cheap fouls trying to recover. The Fever paid her $6 million to be a paint dominator. Stephanie White needs to let her be one. Kelsey Mitchell remains the most polarizing piece of this puzzle. Tonight's 23 points came with 0 secondary contributions, no rebounds, no assists, no defensive playmaking. In modern basketball, that profile only works if you are scoring at an elite efficiency level, and Mitchell, while talented, is not at that tier. Her offensive package is real. Her unwillingness to move the ball or contribute on the glass is becoming a structural problem. There were 3 or 4 possessions tonight where she had a clean drop-off pass available, and she pulled up instead. That is not an accident. That is identity. The bright spots are worth highlighting. Monique Billings made her Fever debut with 9 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and a perfect 1-for-1 from 3. More importantly, she immediately handed the ball back to Clark in transition, rather than try to be a point forward like Natasha Howard does. That's a system fit. Sophie Cunningham gave Indiana 12 points and 7 rebounds while playing the kind of defense that drives opposing coaches crazy. Those two are exactly what this team needs in supporting roles. Ty Harris and the rotation behind her is still being figured out. Harris is playing over Raven Johnson because she can knock down shots, and Stephanie White clearly values offensive spacing. But Harris cannot fall into the trap of looking Clark off in half-court sets. Lexi Hull went 1 for 4 from 3. If Hull isn't making her threes, she doesn't bring enough else to the floor right now to justify minutes. Michaela Timpson and Maya Caldwell barely played. The bench is still a work in progress. Now look ahead, the Washington Mystics on Friday. That is a winnable game on paper, but the Fever cannot afford to play another contest where they let an inferior opponent hang around because of poor offensive execution and frustrating shot selection. The Mystics will exploit any complacency. Indiana needs to come out and establish dominance early, get Boston going in the post, free up Clark for off-the-dribble 3-point looks, and make sure Mitchell doesn't disappear into iso ball when the team needs ball movement. Zooming out, this season is going to define a lot of careers. Stephanie White is being asked to coach the most-watched player in women's basketball history, while also developing a young roster. Aaliyah Boston is at a pivotal moment in her career arc. Kelsey Mitchell is auditioning, whether she realizes it or not, for whether she remains the Fever's secondary scorer long-term. And Caitlyn Clark is being scrutinized at a level no rookie or second-year player has ever experienced in the WNBA. Every shot, every pass, every facial expression. It is all content. So here is the question. Is Stephanie White the right coach to maximize this group, or is she part of the problem? Because the offensive sets we've seen through 2 games suggest a system that is fighting against the strengths of its best players rather than amplifying them. The personnel decisions tonight, including Boston's minutes, the rotations, and the late-game possessions, raised more questions than they answered. Indiana fans deserve a real answer to that question, not deflection and not patience disguised as analysis. Drop a comment and tell me who you think the bigger issue is for this Fever team right now. Is it Kelsey Mitchell's refusal to play a 2-way game? Is it Stephanie White's offensive scheme failing Aaliyah Boston? Or is it just early season rust that will sort itself out by mid-June? Pick one and defend it, and if you've made it this far, hit subscribe, because Friday's game against the Mystics is going to give us a much clearer picture of what this team actually is. We'll break it down right after the final buzzer.